Hey gang, this is Rod with JW Image Company. I am going to show you today how to make a back printed image on plexiglass or glass that can be used for a number of things, from wall signage to art and illustration. We're going to be printing today on our BestJet flatbed UV printer, and I'm going to go through the steps with you on how to do that. So here's some examples of some things that we've printed in the past, some photographs, some artwork, and then today we're going to be printing these signage for Innovate Carolina over in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. To start off with, what we're going to do is you're going to need to get your files prepped. So we're going to go over that a little bit, but not too in depth. The first thing is you're going to have a file that's a PDF or an Illustrator file that you'll have to convert to a TIFF with a spot channel. If you don't know how to do that, there's lots of YouTube videos on how to create a spot channel, but you need to have a CMYK TIFF open and create a spot channel that will cover the whole thing, and that's going to be your white ink. If you look on the back of this image, and actually all of these, there's white that's included. That makes the image opaque, so the glass is not, the sign just works together as a whole. Same thing happens on these other images. There's white that goes behind it, so the glass is clear, the image is printed on the back side, and then the white is the last piece of ink that comes down. So once you get your file prepped and everything looks good, the first thing you need to do is do a series of test prints. Those test prints are just to make sure everything works out the way you want it to, and in this case I had to make some changes to my colors. I chose to do that in my RIP before anything else. And I was able to find the correct color using that RIP, and was able to get close to it and made a few tweaks, and now every file that I open up should have the same color, and that matches the Pantone that the client has asked for. So we're going to go over to the printer and we're going to get started. Now, as far as preparation goes for the material, I've got a piece of acrylic, 1/4 inch acrylic that we've already prepped. On one side still has the protective paper, and the other side is now clean. I've put tape along the edges, and the reason I do that is because there is a bleed built into the file, so the file is actually larger than the 8 inch by 8 inch, and there's going to be some overspray. As you can see here on my flatbed, that white rectangle, or square rather, is where the ink actually is going to come down, and I tape those edges so they remain clean. I'll go ahead and place my piece down on the center of that, make sure everything is straight, and then I come down here and I'm going to turn on the vacuum to zone 1. You can see the flatbed has 4 zones, but 6 actual areas. All I need is 1 area, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that on, and you'll hear the vacuum kick up. And then what I need to do is I'm going to clean. Using a lint-free cloth, I want to remove any fingerprints and also any dust that could have just fallen on there. That will be visible, of course. Make sure we're all lined up. I've got a full bleed that goes all the way around, and then we're going to go around to my printer and get it started over here. So from here, this is an onyx. I'm going to go to my file, take it off a hold, and these have all been set up. The images have been flipped or mirrored so that when you look at them, the image is actually backwards, because it's going to be printing, it is printing backwards. So I'm going to print this just like this, and you can see that it's 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. I'm going to come down here to print, and then I'm going to open up the software that's going to be running the flatbed printer. So the file is now ready for printing. I'm going to open up the PRT file. We're going to do the nameplate -1, open, and then make sure everything looks good. Say OK. Now up here there's a couple things I want to check off. First of all, I want to make sure that the white ink is going to be coming down. We're using the spot channel for that white ink. And then it's going to be the last thing that prints, so we have white ink back. That's important. I've got my file right here ready to go. The first thing I end up doing is making my margins earlier on, and they're set and the height is set. And we're going to be printing this on the fast and actually unidirectional instead of bidirectional. We're just going to be going to the right. So we'll go ahead and hit print and see how this looks. Print head height has already been set, and everything has been cleaned and double checked prior to making the video. You see the first thing that comes down is going to be the color ink. It may be hard to see. That looks pretty good. And after about 2 inches, the white ink will start to be visible. And there we go. I've got about 10 of these to run, so I'll be running this for the morning, and we'll hopefully get these done and out and on the walls pretty soon. Thanks for watching.